talk a little bit about the overall, the name and why we chose the name and how you came up with the name and what, the kind of the inspiration behind the airplane.
Sure. So I'm a huge fan of Formula One racing, and the drivers and the professionalism of the teams and how they work together and how focused they are is an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
So we kind of made we made Formula One an inspiration for the airplane. I think you can see the carbon fiber on the nose, little Ferrari decals around and everything, and Bryan really, you really spent a lot of time looking at Formula One cars and seeing how you could implement some of the aspects of the design of the cars.
Yeah.
So what I did with the name is I was trying to implement Formula One in some way into the name, but I wanted something creative. I was thinking of how to do that. Ayrton Senna is kind of my hero. He was kind of widely regarded as the best Formula One driver.
And he flew pattern planes too.
And he flew pattern planes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man.
Pretty
Him
cool.
and Hannah were best buddies.
So I was thinking of, I thought like, oh, maybe I'll call it Senna or implement that somehow. But I didn't really want to slap his name on the side of our airplane.
Right.
That just didn't feel right. And so what I did is I don't really have a favorite team per se, but one of my favorite teams, I think one of everyone's favorite teams really, Ferrari. I just took the first couple letters of Ferrari and their two drivers, Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa. Their last name's Alonso Massa. So the AL is for Alonso, the FER is from Ferrari, and the MA is from Massa. I just kind of wrote a bunch of words down when I was trying to think of it, and smashed those things together until a word came out that sounded pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I like it, and it has some meaning. I think Ferrari's approach to Formula One, their kind of passion, and just doggedness and determination and love of the sport, and just Ferrari is a Formula One team that makes road cars.
Right.
Their soul is Formula One, and I just love that. So I think that's a fitting inspiration for this airplane, which we've put a lot of passion and soul into. So that's how that came about.
So overall, from a scale of 1 to 10, why don't you rate where you think if we hit the mark, or if we missed the mark, or as an improvement and as a direction in general, where do you rate the airplane as far as what we're trying to achieve? The airplane was built for the World Championships in South Africa, and everything that went behind it we studied, analyzed, down to the prop selection, down to the drag profile of the airplane, the size of the wings, the retracts. Every input on the airplane was either accepted or declined versus how it would impact the overall package for high altitude and South Africa. Personally, I rated an 8. There's still some improvements to do, but I'm so happy with the outcome. Even though I worked like a mule, I missed the whole pattern season trying to get this thing done, and you almost missed the finals with the airplane trying to get it done. But
yeah,
we came together in the end, and it worked. I mean, we had some good luck actually, and I think some good luck mixed with some good skill and some experience.
I don't think a whole lot of it had to do with luck, honestly. There was,
No, there was some luck mixed in. I mean,
okay. But
we're
anyway, there was a lot of hard work, especially on your part, to get that done. But I'd agree with 8.5. I gotta say though, when it gets calm and you're feeling good, and you're dialed in with the airplane, and you put around an F up or something, and I can present it in the way I want to present it. It looks beautiful with the retracts up, and
it's inspiring to fly, and I'll tell you, watching it fly, it's really inspiring to watch. I don't care if I design the airplane or not. The airplane has a presentation that's superior, in my opinion, to anything out there right now.
I might rate the outcome an 8.5, but I would rate the potential a 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I think we're really going the right direction, and it just gives you that feeling when you put up a flight, and it's easy, you know. But when you put up in slow, close, you got the YS just humming. You know, you can come into the box and do those knife edge snaps at about 10 miles an hour, and then just whip around, and the airplane just sticks there. Can't beat that.
Yeah,
Pretty awesome.
It's the ability to have a maneuverable airplane on demand with control, without many vices, really. I mean, and we've cut half the vices down.
Yeah,
from
we
original.
really have. I mean, that's a lot of the work that you've done. You know, after the Nats is to really.
I'm gonna come up with a trimming program for the biplanes after the World Championships, of course, and people are going to be really surprised at what the adjustments really are. You know, from my experience with the Shark, having to really, it's a failed design. I'm still working on it, and it's improved greatly. But that was a launching board for this airplane.
Yeah.
It gave me a real good insight as to what direction to go. I've got two Sharks sitting on my wall, and I cry every time I walk in that I can't fly them because they're beautiful airplanes, but they don't meet the requirements that we're trying to get out of the airplane. But this one does. It really does. One of the judges for the World Championship, for the championship selection team, was Matt Frederick, and I'd like to get some of his opinion about what he saw. You know, Matt's a team member of mine, but he's got an honest eye, and he's been around me for a long time and understands what I've gone through to perfect my designs and perfect, you know, working with other people flying my designs. Overall impression versus what you saw at the Nationals. What did you take away from watching the flights? Now, you even filmed a couple flights for me.
Well, the round that I judged was the first round of the F pattern, and it was clear throughout that entire flight, all 10 pilots, that the YS had an advantage in that type of weather. The winds were gusting upwards of 35 knots. It was so bad at one point we had people holding the canopies down that were over the judges to keep them from crushing the judges. It was clear that the YS had an advantage in on-demand power there. One of the rounds of the unknowns, in fact, one of the electric planes got blown out of the box on a centered maneuver and could not recover. The YS was not lacking in that neighborhood. The reverse snap on center that Brett described earlier in the F pattern, this was the only plane I watched that actually executed that maneuver correctly. There was absolutely no hesitation when reversing the direction of the snap, and it nailed it. Whether or not he showed the belly first, it didn't matter. There were no flaws in that maneuver. In comparison to some of the other ones, one of the weaknesses, I don't know if it's of the airplanes or the pilots, but a lot of people are having trouble with reversing roll direction immediately. And the Alferma presents that so well that there is no doubt that it happened. It nails the points and goes immediately the other direction. I'm sure a lot of it goes into the talent of the pilots, but no doubt there's something in this design and the way it presents. The horizontal rolling 8, when this airplane crosses the two center points, it's mesmerizing to watch it nail that knife edge going straight out and swap the direction that it's going. It presents so beautifully that it's awe-inspiring, really.
Yeah. And that's, I think, part of the romanticism of a biplane. It's their, I kind of match it up to, I could jump in a Formula One car and know it's a bad machine, but I can never control it. And it takes a certain level of pilot to take advantage of the flexibility and the capability of the airplane. And the better pilot you are, the more you can display it. And the bike kind of gives you that opportunity. Unfortunately, everybody loves them, and they like to fly them, and they like to own them because they are cool, and they're kind of like the exotic end of our sport. But for the most part, I believe the biplane is going to be on top for a long time. I don't see the monoplanes being able to exceed its presentation, especially with the YS motors and having the unlimited power that we have. And as they get better, we'll be able to, other people will be able to fly them. The AMA classes will be able to fly these airplanes and enjoy them, as well as the FAI guys. We still have a few years of development left on them to iron out the quirks and get through some of the wives' tales about how you set them up. The biggest misconception to these airplanes is setup. You know, when I started designing biplanes, I couldn't believe some of the stuff I read on the internet about how to set these things up, knowing intuitively it was incorrect. But also knowing that nobody really had the answer, and it was an opportunity to find it. Now, it's maddening to continue to try to find that, and we're continuing to try to find it. But it's pleasurable to see this outcome and what we worked so hard to do. I spent 1.5 years on this airplane, literally every day in my shop. 2 sets of wings, 2 sets of stabs. What we have here is an airplane that weighs 5,040 grams. I've flown some of my Valiants, which is a much smaller airplane, at the same weight. And it's incredible to me what you're capable of doing if you put your mind to it. Not everybody can do it, but this is what I enjoy doing, stretching the envelope. And I think we really hit the bullseye with this airplane. And I'm starting on the second one now for South Africa, and we're going to have both of them there, hopefully with God's grace. And we hope to see you there. And hopefully the video was informative. I've gotten a lot of questions over the years of developing this biplane, and it's really hard to quantify some of it. So I kind of wanted to give you a designer and a pilot's view of the airplane and why we did what we did. And we look forward to seeing you guys in South Africa.